final lecture of this unit of ATS 113 is about different ways to lift air parcels and what that results in for the temperatures and the cloud formations in those air parcels. The readings come from pages 143 through 144, 156 through 160, and 169 through 180. Looking here at page 143, a very key concept is going to be this difference between a diabatic and an adiabatic temperature change. Now I've highlighted here a description of adiabatic temperature changes that the book goes through using about the first law of thermodynamics to explain how these work. This isn't normally how I teach it, although I must say that this text is quite clear. So if I end up teaching it this way, make sure you understand what's going on in this red box here. Regardless of how I teach it, though, three key concepts are going to emerge: the dry adiabatic lapse rate, the saturated adiabatic lapse rate, and the lifted condensation level. You're going to be solving a whole class of problems in this course called mountain problems that use these numbers, so make sure you understand what's going on. By the way, your textbook uses a value of 5 degrees Celsius per kilometer for the saturated adiabatic lapse rate. We're actually going to use the value of 6 degrees Celsius per kilometer just because it works out better for some of the homework problems and stuff like that. And your book actually goes into a description as to why the saturated adiabatic lapse rate isn't a constant anyway, so it's no harm for us to use a slightly different number than your book. Okay, then you're going to jump ahead to page 156, and there's just going to be a short little discussion here. It takes a few pages about different ways to lift an air parcel. There's going to be a list right here on the bottom of page 157. There's going to be methods like orographic lifting or lifting air over a mountain. There's going to be frontal wedging or frontal lifting as air is lifted over cold fronts and warm fronts. And there's going to be low-level convergence, and there's also going to be what your book calls convective lifting. We're also going to use the word buoyancy to describe that. These are air parcels that rise just because they're lighter than the air around them. Okay, then you can stop where you see the red line and jump ahead to page 169. And this is the beginning of a nice description of all the different cloud species. Now, we're going to do quite a lot of discussion about cloud species and different types of clouds that you need to identify. And this text does a really good job. You can skip this business about this text box at the top of page 170. Here's a little bit. I like the summary figure, by the way, at the bottom of page 171. You have a very similar figure on your course CD. Here's page 172. My favorite clouds are cirrus clouds, like you see right there. Alright, here's some more different kinds of clouds. And some more. And some more. And some more. And here's a text box you don't need to worry about, but you do need to continue on the text down below. And here's another text box you don't need to worry about, but the text at the bottom of the page is important. You don't need to worry about these types of unusual clouds that are labeled here. That's beyond the scope of the class. Although do focus on the one type there, modest clouds, just because they're so typical with regard to thunderstorms, and we should start talking about things like thunderstorms in the class. Okay, so it sounds like a lot of reading, but actually it's a lot of pictures of clouds. There's lots of resources about clouds on your course CD. I hope that this has helped. If you need me, contact me by email, on the audio blog, whatever it takes. This has been Dr. John Shruggy, copyright 2006.